Hey, everybody. I am here with Rob Hutter, who is our Regional Director Licensee for Connecticut. And so, Rob, you started in Connecticut in about what year?
Uh, 2008, 888.
Right, I remember that. And we went up there together and met with a bunch of pastors and churches and landed some sites, and you were off and running.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and you were here in Maryland for what, 2, 3 years prior to that?
Yeah, I arrived in Maryland sometime in 2006 and I left 2008.
Yes, I was like 2.5 years. Well, um, tell us about your journey into the mental health field, and it,
Okay.
and I'll give everybody like a little foreshadowing hint. 9/11 played a role in your call to mental health, didn't it?
Right, right. I mean, that was a very strange time for everyone, it seemed, especially in the Northeast. And what had happened is I was working at the time in advertising. I was doing design and I was an art director working in outdoor advertising. And I was very happy working, doing what I was doing. But around 2000, roughly, I really wanted to do something for the Lord, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was making a good paycheck. I just bought my first house, and things were going well until my company was sold. They decided to sell to another company. And then it wasn't quite the same anymore. And I really had this gnawing that I wanted to do something other than just design, because I had been a Christian since I've been 18 years old. And I realized, other than going to Bible study and churches and things like that, I really hadn't done much.
Hmm.
So around the time the company was sold, I ended up being very uncomfortable in the way that the new management was doing things. And I started to sense that they were not interested in keeping me around much longer. So they used me for about 5 months until they did away with my position. So I heard through the grapevine it was due to uh, budget cuts. But anyway, so I was out of work. We just bought our first house. My wife was very upset about that. She wanted to start a family around the time, and her mother passed away suddenly. And so everything came at once. And then it was around 9/11, very difficult time for everybody, a lot of emotion. My wife sought Christian counseling, help from a man in the area who was a very well-respected Christian counselor. She worked through her issues. I didn't know much about it at the time. I had to take a job doing something because I was out of work. So I worked at Home Depot, out of all places, doing kitchen design. I didn't really want to do it, but I had to do something. My wife wasn't happy about that. And then what happened is that my wife was getting better. She said, you know what, I really think I want to do something with my bachelor in psychology. I'd like to do something in, maybe mental health. And she said that her Christian counselor mentioned a place in Nyack, New York, which offers the clinical and the spiritual. And she said, would you please come with me Saturday morning so I could meet the director? And I said, sure, I'll go for moral support. I know you've heard this story before.
Yeah.
So we went on a Saturday morning. Dr. Ellison was a very nice man. He told us about the whole program. I was very excited. I'm like, this is great. And I said to her on the ride home, I could see myself doing this. And then she's like, what do you mean you could see yourself doing this? You're not equipped to do this work. And I was just so excited. I'm like, wow, I could see myself doing this. And she was kind of annoyed with me because here I am. I kept talking about what she wanted to do. She had submitted her applications,
Hmm.
her transcripts. And so I kept talking to her about this. She got very upset with me. She said, you know what? You're stepping on my toes. This is my thing. Why are you doing this to me? And she said, you know what? If you really think you are cut out to be a Christian counselor, why don't you talk to Vin? He's my counselor. And I'm like, I don't know the guy. She's like, he'll tell you what the truth is. So I made an appointment with him. We had a good conversation. He got to know me better. And he said, Rob, I just want you to know this. I think you would make a good Christian counselor. And he said, the only thing is that if you decided to go, you have to know that your wife, Lisa, wants to go. So she would have to take 2 to 4 years to do that. Then you would have to decide to do that. So I told Lisa about it. Yay, that's awesome. I would love to be a Christian counselor. And he said I would make a great Christian counselor. And she was still annoyed with me. She's like, okay. So I kept talking to her about it. I couldn't get it out of my mind. And she said, come on, enough with this. You'll have to wait your turn. So I said, you know what, Lord? I said, she's not happy. And I don't want to keep bringing this up. And this isn't something that I want to cause friction between us anymore. I said, so Lord, if you want me to go to school instead of her, she'd have to come to me of her own free will to tell me this. And I said that if you didn't want me to go at this point, then things would continue. So 2 days went by. We sat at the dinner table. We're just talking. And she said, honey, I just want you to know, my heart has changed. I've been praying and thinking about this. And I don't think I should be going. I think you should be going. I'm like, what? And she said, yeah, she's like, you would make a much better Christian counselor than me. And I just want to start a family someday. That's not where my desire really is. I don't know why it's changed. And I was like, yes, this is awesome. I said, what do I have to do? I said, she's like, call the school and tell them that we've changed our minds and you're going to do it. And you need to get the transcripts. Well, that was
Rob, let me, why don't we start it over? I had a vacuum cleaner running in the background.
Which part?
The
whole thing?
Well, yeah. Yeah, there's no way to